All right, guys, here we are in the wheel well. There is the inner tie rod all the way in there. As you can see, my boot is ripped. So, you know, that's a good reason right there to replace the inner tie rods alone, because you don't want any grit or anything in there, and then they're probably wore prematurely. Anyways, let's get started on removing this. First thing I like to do is loosen this nut right here. So I already have taken a adjustable wrench and gotten this loose. So now we need to loosen the outer tie rod from the knuckle. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off this cotter pin, and then we can loosen this castle nut right there. Got that out of the way. So now let's see, is that a 17 millimeter, I believe? All right, guys, so I took off the 17 millimeter castle nut that was under there, but as you can see, this joint is still connected to the knuckle. So in order to separate this, I'm gonna have to get my ball joint separator to pop this off and disconnect it from this knuckle. All right, guys, you can see my ball joint separator is right there. All I'm gonna do is tighten this bolt right here down, and this will push the bushing up to disconnect this from the knuckle. Woo! Yeah, those can be quite the explosion there. All right, that is all loose. So whenever you have this disconnected from the knuckle, whenever you take this off, you're going to turn it counterclockwise, and you're going to want to count how many rotations it takes until it is fully off, because you're going to want to put the new one the exact amount of rotations to get it at least fairly close to the alignment of which you had it at. All right, guys, so I have the old inner tie rod off. As you can see, I wrote down how many rotations. The left was 14, the right was 15. And here are my new inner tie rods. I just like to write it on the box just so I can remember whenever I go to install them. I am replacing these with Hardrace inner and outer tie rods, by the way. Okay, so now let's go back under here. All right, so now you can see that the inner tie rod is off. There it sits right there. This is the OEM one. This is original to the car. Yeah, that is pretty loose. The boot actually isn't in that bad a condition. You can see, maybe you can't see, but it's a NOK brand. Was that Nook or something? But yeah, this is the OEM one. Even has the OEM yellow stamp of approval there. So that's cool. But yeah, original ones, 152,000 miles. I'm sure these are worn. So next, I'm going to go ahead and remove that boot. It does have a metal clip all the way back there on it, and it's going to be extremely difficult because space is very limited to show you guys and actually get the camera up in there. But it's basically a metal clamp, and you can just, well, I'm not going to reuse these clamps. I bought some new ones, so I am just going to take some sharp pliers or cutters, and I'm just going to cut it off because I bought new boots and clamps anyways, so I'm not going to be reusing any of this stuff again. So all open to the elements, so good thing I'm changing these out. All right, guys, I am looking at my inner tie rods here. I do plan to take off all that grease and put new grease on the steering rack right there just to kind of clean it up and freshen it up. But anyways, there is my inner tie rod right there. I did rent a inner tie rod tool right here. It has all these different sizes of attachments right here. I found that this one works best for this one. This one fits pretty well. What you do is you fit it right over there. Actually, I think I'll put it like that so it will stay on there, just like that. And then I will take my tool, or actually this tool I rented from O'Reilly's, so I have 48 hours to have this tool before I have to return it. All right, so here I have the tool. You can see I have my 1/2-inch ratchet on the end, and then I have the appropriate size locked in there. So now I'm gonna put it on there and try to take that thing off. All right, that tool worked really well. So I went ahead and got it loose. I can now do it by hand. So I'm gonna undo this, and I'm gonna take note of the pin that comes out, make sure that that comes out along with it. Okay, so, oh, there it is. It's on the tie rod end there. So I will be sure to put the new one on there. Awesome, so that's pretty easy. It just screwed right in there. All right, the new inner tie rod end is on there. I looked up on the internet. One source said that this needs to be torqued down to 29 to 35 foot-pounds, so I think I did like 34 foot-pounds. And yeah, it is in there. It is snug. The little pin on the end is on there. So yeah, I'm thinking about re-greasing my power steering rack right there. You see that old grease? I'm thinking about taking that off and putting some new fresh grease on there. I think I'll do that. Alright guys, I re-greased the shaft of the power steering rack with some fresh grease. I had this laying around, so I just used this super high temp urea grease by Honda. Probably a little overkill, but it does cover metal surfaces, so that will work just fine. And now I have my brand new OEM boots. This one is for the passenger side, and this one is for the driver's side. I also bought new Honda OEM clamps to go on them, and then also on the other end, those style clamps as well on the smaller end. So yeah, brand new inner tie rods, ready to get some brand new boots. It's looking good. Brand new passenger side boot, inner and outer tie rod. Looking great. So you can see the new boot down there. I actually used a large zip tie to tighten it down on that end right there because, well, those metal ones are quite difficult, especially with the very limited amount of room that is in that area. Those are very difficult to tighten down. So I just decided to use a large zip tie, you know, for temporary until I feel it's necessary that I need a different clamp. But anyways, there you go, guys. Brand new OEM boots and Hardrace inner and outer tie rods. There it is, guys. Nice and fresh. Now I will be having a kind of a before and after video of my suspension on my Integra because I just redid it. It is looking very nice. I still have a couple things to finish up on the rear of the car, but yeah, this thing's really coming together slowly but surely. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.